Hollywood glitters with fame, but its shadows are darker than most imagine. Behind the cameras and red carpets lie stories of disappearances, mysteries, and deaths no script could ever invent. Each case begins with promise, an actress, a director, a dreamer, only to end in silence. Clues vanish, witnesses change their stories, and questions multiply without answers. These are 6 of Hollywood's most chilling unsolved mysteries. Chapter 1: The Vanishing of Jean Spangler. It's a warm October night in Los Angeles, 1949. The city is alive with neon lights, studio backlots humming with late-night shoots, and the soft echo of jazz drifting from nightclubs along Sunset Boulevard. Inside a modest apartment in Hollywood, a young actress adjusts her makeup in the mirror. Jean Spangler, 27 years old, rising glamorous. She's known among friends for her sharp wit and undeniable charm, the kind of woman everyone believes is on the brink of stardom. At 5 p.m., Jean waves goodbye to her sister-in-law, telling her she's meeting her ex-husband to discuss child support. Then heading to a late-night film shoot. She never makes it back. That wave at the door is the last her family will ever see of her. The next morning, Los Angeles police receive a call. A man walking his dog in Griffith Park has stumbled upon a woman's purse tossed in the brush. Inside, officers find Jean's ID, makeup, and a half-written note that will become one of Hollywood's strangest mysteries. Kirk, can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work best this way while Mother is away. The handwriting matches Jean's, but the meaning? Completely opaque. The police begin pulling threads. Jean's ex-husband, Dexter Benner, insists he never met her that night. He claims to have been at home. Friends say Jean never mentioned a shoot scheduled for that evening either. So where was she going? And then there's the note. The name Kirk instantly ignites rumors. At the time, one of Hollywood's brightest stars is Kirk Douglas, known to have filmed with Jean just months earlier. Could she have been planning to meet him? When pressed, Douglas admits he knew Jean casually, but denies any involvement. I barely knew her, he tells reporters, but suspicion lingers. Was Kirk really Kirk Douglas, or someone else altogether? Another lead emerges, Dr. Scott. Who was he? Hollywood police quietly begin investigating underground abortion providers. In 1949, abortion is illegal, yet the film industry is no stranger to secret procedures arranged discreetly for actresses whose careers would be destroyed by scandal. Some whisper that Jean may have been pregnant, forced to seek help from a shadowy figure working outside the law. But the trail grows darker. Jean had also been romantically linked to men with mob connections, including a nightclub owner rumored to be tied to organized crime. Did she stumble into a mob operation she wasn't supposed to see? Was the purse in Griffith Park left deliberately, a warning to anyone who asked too many questions? For weeks, police chase every lead. They question doctors, actors, producers, mobsters. Nothing sticks. Jean Spangler has vanished as though swallowed by the city itself. Hollywood reporters feast on the mystery, printing daily headlines that mix fact with rumor. Sightings pour in from across California, even as far as Phoenix, Arizona. None are verified. At Griffith Park, tourists still walk the trails where her purse was found. Some swear they feel a sudden chill, as if someone is watching from the trees. What happened to Jean Spangler? Did she cross paths with Hollywood's hidden abortion underworld, silenced to protect reputations that couldn't withstand scandal? Or did she collide with the wrong man at the wrong time, caught in a web of mob secrets, her life erased to keep others safe? No body was ever found. No suspect was ever charged. To this day, the note inside her purse remains her final, cryptic message, the last fragment of a life cut short in Hollywood's shadows. Chapter 2: The Death of Thelma Todd. It's the early morning of December 16, 1935. The Pacific Ocean crashes against the cliffs of Pacific Palisades, a cold mist hanging over the coastal highway. The city of Los Angeles is waking slowly, but one of its brightest stars will never rise again. Inside a garage near the beachside cafe she owned, a maid makes a chilling discovery. Slumped behind the wheel of a luxury car is Thelma Todd, actress-comedian known as the Ice Cream Blonde. She is only 29 years old. Her lips are blue, her elegant evening dress is wrinkled. The engine beneath her is cold, but the cause of death is announced quickly: carbon monoxide poisoning. The official story? She fell asleep in her car. Engine running, overcome by fumes. An accident. Case closed. But Hollywood doesn't buy it. Thelma Todd was no ordinary actress. She had starred in comedies with the Marx Brothers, performed alongside Laurel and Hardy, and built her own successful business, a glamorous cafe perched above the ocean, where stars and politicians mingled late into the night. She was beautiful, witty, independent, and independence in 1930s Hollywood came with enemies. Police reports detail strange bruises on her face and body. Witnesses describe her in the days before her death as upset, worried. Rumors swirl that she was tangled in a love triangle, or perhaps knew too much about the mob activity that shadowed Los Angeles nightlife. Was Thelma Todd the victim of jealous rivals, or silence because of secrets too dangerous to reveal? The night before her death, Thelma had attended a lavish party. She was seen laughing, drinking champagne, mingling with industry friends. But some guests noticed tension. She had argued with her former lover, director Roland West, a man with whom she still co-owned the cafe. Their relationship was volatile, romantic, professional, and often bitter. Witnesses recalled raised voices. By the time she left the party, she seemed shaken. Hours later, she was found in the garage, slumped in the driver's seat of West's car. Questions mount. Why would she drive into the garage and leave the engine running? Why the bruises? And why did witnesses' stories begin to change in the days after her death? The official verdict of accidental death fails to silence the gossip. Friends claim she feared for her life. She had spoken of threats, of pressure from shadowy figures tied to organized crime. Her cafe, though glamorous, was rumored to be a hotspot for mob deals. Could her business success have put her in the crosshairs of powerful men? Why did witnesses suddenly alter their accounts? And who stood to gain from her silence? For weeks, newspapers run sensational headlines. The public devours every rumor. Some insist she was murdered by West in a jealous rage. Others believe the mob staged her death, making it look accidental. A darker theory suggests she was planning to break free from certain powerful figures, and they made sure she never did. But in the end, no charges are filed. The case is quietly closed. The official record remains unchanged. Accidental carbon monoxide poisoning. Nearly a century later, her cafe still stands above the Pacific Coast Highway. Now a landmark, tourists take photos, unaware of the star who once filled its rooms with laughter. Thelma Todd remains frozen in time, glamorous, mysterious, and forever silenced. Did she fall victim to a tragic accident, or was her death a carefully staged cover-up? The truth, like the ocean mist that morning, has never lifted. Chapter 3, Elisa Lam and the Elevator Mystery. It's January 2013 in downtown Los Angeles. The winter sky is gray, heavy with smog and drizzle. Skid Row lies only blocks away, where tents and broken sidewalks stretch endlessly. But on Main Street, one building looms above it all, the Cecil Hotel, a place steeped in infamy. For decades, its hallways have been the backdrop for death, despair, and whispered stories. Serial killers Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger both lived here. Countless suicides were reported in its rooms. Tourists book stays for its cheap rates, rarely knowing its bloody past. And yet Hollywood keeps circling back. Movies and TV shows are filmed within its walls. Writers draw on its dark reputation. Celebrities have checked in, leaving their names on a guest list as eerie as the building itself. Into this atmosphere walks Elisa Lam, 21 years old, a Canadian student traveling alone. She's curious, bright, and a little restless. Her blog posts capture her search for adventure. On January 26, she checks into the Cecil. Days later, she vanishes. Her parents, worried when she fails to call home, alert authorities. Police begin a search, combing the hotel room by room. Nothing. Then investigators release a piece of evidence that shocks the world. It's a surveillance video, time-stamped February 1st, from inside the Cecil's creaking old elevator. The footage is grainy, black and white. Elisa steps inside, presses multiple buttons, then flattens herself against the wall. Her hands move strangely, gesturing in midair as though speaking to someone, or something unseen. At one point, she steps out, peeks both ways down the hallway, then ducks back in, pressing herself into the corner. The video cuts off abruptly. Within hours, it goes viral. Millions watch, rewind, and analyze her movements. Was she playing hide and seek, talking to someone just out of frame, or reacting to a presence only she could see? Weeks later, a maintenance worker at the hotel climbs to the roof. Inside one of the massive water tanks, he makes a horrifying discovery. Elisa's body floating For days, guests had been complaining about low water pressure and strange taste in the tap. The coroner rules her death accidental, a drowning linked to bipolar disorder. But the questions refused to go away. Was Elisa's death really an accident, or part of something ritualistic tied to Hollywood's darker legends? The hotel itself becomes the focus. Why does this place keep surfacing in movies, murders, and ghost stories alike? The water tanks resemble a shot from the film Dark Water, a horror movie released years earlier, where a girl's body is discovered in a rooftop water tank of an apartment building. Paranormal investigators claim the elevator video shows her interacting with something supernatural. Others suggest darker explanations. Cult activity, ritual sacrifice, even links to Hollywood's fascination with the occult. Conspiracy theorists dissect every frame, convinced the Cecil is more than a hotel, it's a magnet for death. What's undeniable is the atmosphere inside. Former guests describe sleepless nights, cold drafts, and a sense of being watched. The building has been rebranded since, renamed and remodeled. But for many it will always be the Cecil, the place where shadows walk the hallways and a young woman's final moments were captured in one of the internet's most chilling videos. The mystery of Elisa Lam lingers. Was she a victim of mental illness and tragic circumstance? Or did she become another thread in Hollywood's darkest tapestry? A life swallowed by a building already cursed with too many secrets. Chapter 4. William Desmond Taylor. The Parking Lot Death. It's a cool February evening in Los Angeles, 1922. The film industry is still young, silent pictures lighting up theater screens across the country. The city hums with promise. Hollywood is the new dream factory, drawing actors, writers, and directors from all over the world. But beneath the glitter lies scandal, drugs, and secrets. At 404B South Alvarado Street, William Desmond Taylor is wrapping up his day. A respected director in the silent film era, Taylor is admired for his refined manner and artistic vision. He's known among actors, producers, and studio heads. To his neighbors, he is polite but distant, a man who always seems to carry something unspoken. That night, neighbors hear a loud sound, a crack, like a car backfiring. But when they peer outside, all is quiet. By morning, Hollywood wakes to shocking news. Taylor has been found dead on the floor of his bungalow, shot once in the back. Police swarm the scene. Nothing seems stolen. Expensive items, jewelry, cash, even his watch remain untouched. It doesn't look like a robbery. Instead, it looks personal. The investigation takes an immediate turn toward the women in his life. Two actresses emerge at the center of the storm. Mabel Normand, America's beloved comedienne, and Mary Miles Minter, a young starlet once groomed as the next Mary Pickford. Mabel Normand was reportedly one of the last to see Taylor alive. She admits she visited his bungalow that evening to borrow books and gossip. They say she kissed him goodbye at the door. Hours later, he was dead. Then there is Mary Miles Minter. Police find her love letters to Taylor. Letters that suggest obsession. Mary was infatuated, but Taylor, nearly 30 years her senior, kept his distance. The press pounces, painting her as a scorned lover. Was Taylor killed because of his rumored romantic entanglements? Or did he know something that made him a target? The case grows stranger. Witness testimony shifts. Some neighbors swear they saw a mysterious man in a dark coat leaving the bungalow that night. Others say they heard voices raised in argument. One witness vanishes before police can question him a second time. Another changes her story entirely, claiming she saw nothing at all. Why did so many witnesses suddenly change their stories or disappear themselves? As investigators dig deeper, Taylor's respectable facade begins to crack. Rumors surface of debts, blackmail, even connections to drug dealers supplying Hollywood's elite. Some whisper he knew too much, that he had information which, if exposed, could destroy careers at the height of the silent film boom. The press seizes on every angle, turning the tragedy into one of Hollywood's first great scandals. Papers run headlines day after day, speculating wildly. Was it a lover's quarrel? A jealous husband? A studio cover-up? Months turn into years. No one is ever charged. Mabel Normand's career never fully recovers. The shadow of suspicion follows her to her grave. Mary Miles Minter's once bright star collapses under the weight of scandal. And William Desmond Taylor's murder becomes one of Los Angeles' earliest unsolved Hollywood mysteries. A century later, the bungalow is gone, but the questions linger. Was Taylor gunned down by someone close to him? An actress who loved him, or someone protecting their reputation? Or did he stumble into secrets Hollywood could never allow to see daylight? The crime scene is long erased, but the silence around his death remains louder than the gunshot that ended his life. Chapter 5. The Disappearance of Welden Kees. It's July 18, 1955. San Francisco is wrapped in its trademark fog, the kind that rolls off the Pacific and cloaks the Golden Gate Bridge in eerie silence. Cars rumble across the span, headlights cutting through the mist. But one Plymouth Savoy sedan is different, parked neatly at the bridge's north end. Its doors locked, keys missing. Inside, a jacket folded carefully across the seat. The car belongs to Welden Kees. Poet, painter, jazz pianist, filmmaker, a man of restless creativity, known for moving easily between art forms. At 41, Kees seemed always on the edge of breakthrough. Hollywood projects lined up, screenplays in the works, connections with directors who saw his talent. To some, he was destined to be the next great multi-hyphenate of American culture. But now, he is gone. Police begin their search with the obvious assumption: suicide. The Golden Gate Bridge is notorious. Many who vanish leave cars behind, jackets folded, belongings arranged just so. Yet something about Kees's disappearance feels different. For one thing, there's no body. The waters below the bridge are unforgiving, but usually within days remain surface. In Kees's case, nothing. Weeks pass, the ocean gives nothing back. Friends begin to whisper. Kees, they say, had been growing anxious. He told more than one confidant that he was being hunted. At parties, he'd scan the room, lowering his voice when conversations turned serious. He joked, or maybe didn't, that men were following him. Did Kees jump, or did he stage his own disappearance to escape Hollywood's grip? In the days before he vanished, he met with several friends. Each of them later recalled strange comments. One painter said Kees admitted he was finished with America. A fellow writer remembered him describing how easy it would be to vanish to Mexico, to start fresh. His closest confidant claimed Kees had grown obsessed with the idea that shadowy figures were watching him, waiting for him to slip. Why did he tell close friends about being followed in the days leading up to his vanishing? The police investigation raises more questions. Kees's apartment shows no sign of departure. Unfinished coffee, books still stacked, manuscripts left behind, yet there are hints of planning. Several $1,000s withdrawn from his bank account. His cat left with food and water as if he expected to return or wanted to create the illusion that he would. Some speculate he crossed into Mexico, blending into a quieter life far from the Hollywood circles he mistrusted. Others believe his talk of being hunted wasn't paranoia at all, that he knew something or someone too dangerous to confront. Decades pass. Sightings of Welden Kees pop up like rumors in a ghost story. A man resembling him spotted in Guadalajara, another in Europe, none confirmed. Each lead fades into silence, but his work lives on. His poetry, sharp, haunting, often laced with themes of disappearance and death, feels almost prophetic in hindsight. His paintings and jazz recordings hint at a restless energy that seemed impossible to cage. What remains is the mystery. Did he leap from the Golden Gate Bridge, swallowed by the sea? Or did he vanish by design, reinventing himself in another country, another name, far from the spotlight? The car is gone now, the bridge still standing. Fog rolls over its red steel arches every morning, the same as it did the day Welden Kees disappeared. His life ended or began again with that abandoned sedan on the bridge, leaving behind a mystery as enduring as the man himself. Chapter 6. The Phantom Managers. Hollywood Boulevard, 1976. The Walk of Fame glitters under neon light, the air heavy with car exhaust and faint perfume from late-night theaters. Tourists pose for photos beside the stars on the sidewalk. Struggling actors hand out headshots at diners, rehearsing lines under the buzz of street lamps. And then sometimes, it happens. A stranger appears. Well-dressed, polite, confident. He knows their name before they say it. He claims to be a manager, an agent, someone who can open doors no one else can. A card is handed over, a meeting arranged, and within weeks, sometimes days, the unknown actor is suddenly booked in roles that launch them into stardom. The strangest part comes later. When those actors try to thank their benefactor, to bring him into the spotlight, he's gone. Phone numbers disconnected, offices empty, no record of him in the Screen Actors Guild, in agency lists, in directories. It's as if he never existed at all. One case is whispered about in industry circles. A young actress, anonymous until then, swore that a man named Mr. Benton transformed her life. He secured her auditions, introduced her to producers, and within a year she was starring in a studio film. When reporters later tried to track Benton down, they hit a wall. No paper trail, no contract. Even the producers who hired her denied knowing him. And yet the actress was certain. Without him, I wouldn't have made it. Stories like hers echo across decades. Actors in the 80s, musicians in the 90s, even young influencers today, all claiming a mysterious mentor who pushed them forward, then vanished. Were these mysterious benefactors con men, opportunists, or something paranormal, woven into Hollywood's mythology? Investigators and journalists have tried to trace the origins of these so-called phantom managers. Some believe they are failed agents using fake names, slipping in and out of the industry under cover of anonymity. Others suggest they are elaborate scams, men who prop up one star only to vanish before lawsuits catch up. But then there are even stranger stories. The singer in Los Angeles remembers a manager who secured her a recording contract. He appeared suddenly in her life, urged her to sign, and then disappeared. Years later, looking back at the contract, she swore the signature line for his name was blank. An actor recalls being introduced to a Mr. Ray in 1983, who helped him get his first speaking role. When he later searched for Ray, studio security claimed no such man had ever been employed there. How can so many careers begin with a name no one can verify? Some call it folklore, Hollywood's own urban legend, born from the desperation of dreamers. Others insist the phantom managers are real, moving in shadows, quietly shaping destinies before vanishing again. The paranormal community takes it further. They argue these figures are not men at all, but echoes, spirits feeding off ambition, attaching themselves to artists until the first taste of success, and then dissolving back into the city's night. The truth is unknowable, but the stories keep surfacing. In coffee shops, backstage dressing rooms, late-night radio interviews, you still hear it. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. But I can't find him anymore. Hollywood thrives on myths, and perhaps this is the most haunting one of all. Not the murders or the scandals, but the idea that fame itself may come at the hand of someone or something that cannot be explained, verified, or thanked. And in the end, what's scarier than that